Hey you, it's me. Hold on. I'll turn off the air so it's not too loud. I don't know if you can see the screen well. Um, it's very bright in here. But I will do my best. Besides, my videos aren't really about the visual stimuli. They're more about the thought-provoking conversation that I bring to the table. At least that's what I like to think. Anyway, I was watching a video from the channel Woke Informant, and they were giving the new rundown on the new Snow White movie that is now postponed till 2025. Is anybody excited about this movie? Because I sure am not. I could care less. I did have a faint interest in it when I first heard about it because Snow White is such a beautiful movie. The original 1937, I think it is, or 30. I always thought it was 39, but I guess it's 37. Regardless, the animated movie is so sweet and so wonderful. And when I heard, what is her name? Rachel Zegler. When I heard her talk, I instantly did not want to see the movie. She's young. Her ego is quite boosted because she was the star of a movie, and I guess she's got a few other things that she's doing. So I can see her ego is boosted quite high, and she's just kind of smug and rude and nasty. I don't like her. I have no interest in seeing a movie that she's in, especially something like Snow White. I don't think that there needs to be another version made. The original is so amazing, but here we are. So I had no interest after hearing her speak. She is not lovely. She is not sweet. She is not kind. There's nothing about her that I like. But I did see in comments under that video, and I don't know if people want to be called out for their comments or not, so I'm not going to use the full name. I'm just going to use the beginning of her name, which it is Natalia. I'm assuming it's a female because it sounds a female name. We'll just say person. Anyway, this person, Natalia, she said something in her statement, in her comment, that really grabbed my attention. And the first part she says that the prince is in the movie, the original movie, for about a minute in the beginning and a minute at the end. Because the movie isn't about the prince. It isn't even about their love story. It's about Snow White. And then this person said a really profound statement that I think it was really profound. I keep saying she, I apologize. This person said, the movie is about being kind and not allowing yourself to be a victim of circumstances. Is that not a great quote? Man, that person had it right too. That's what it was about. I mean, did Snow White have some assistance? Of course she did. But she still was seeking it out on her own. She was trying to survive. Her mother, stepmother, Queen, was trying to kill her. The hunter refused to kill her. He just didn't have it in him because she was so kind and lovely. So he let her go. She fled into the woods. She was a princess. What did she know about the woods? And yet, she found this little home. She found the 7 gentlemen who were willing to let her stay there as long as she, earned her keep. She cooked, she cleaned, she made it nice for them. so that they would let her stay there. I mean, to me, that's just ingenuity. That's just, working with what you got. That's impressive. The clip that I saw of the new Snow White is forcing the dwarves, the men, to clean up after themselves, which, not a bad thing. But they're also very hard-working individuals, and it's nice to have that balance of, I'm out there working really hard, you're out there working really hard to make things nice for me, so I make things nice for you. It's a whole give and take thing. That is not outdated. That's wonderful. That's what partnerships and things should be. Now, this wasn't exactly a partnership, but it was an understanding that worked well for everybody. What's wrong with that? That's not saying anything bad about Snow White or about the dwarfs. But listening to this woman, Ziegler, whatever her name is, talk about it, you think she was their slave or something. No, she wasn't a slave. She was just working things out so that she had a place to stay, so that she could be safe, so that the queen wouldn't kill her. I mean, for goodness sakes. And at the end of the movie, I know it's not a spoiler here, this story's been out for a long time. The prince kisses her, which wakes her from the spell. Okay? In the books that I read as a kid, it helped dislodge the apple that was in her mouth. It fell out of her mouth, and she was okay again. And she instantly fell in love with him. He fell in love with her. What's wrong with that? That's sweet. That's nice. And of course, all the dwarves were super happy because she wasn't dead after all. And obviously, they had a wonderful friendship. What is wrong with that? It just makes me so upset that this girl who's playing Snow White is so nasty about the character. The story isn't outdated. The story is beautiful. Now, if you wanted to make a quote-unquote updated version, do that. But don't call it Snow White, because that's not the story. You want to do something like, they want to update everything. They want to update the characters. They want to make sure that Snow White, who had skin as white as snow and hair as dark as, I forget, they wanted to change her to another skin color. Fine, then don't call it Snow White. Call it, I don't know. Make it a different reference. Make it reference to her height or her weight or her kindness or something, I don't know. I'm not in a very creative mood today. I'm kind of tired. So nothing is popping into my mind at the moment. If something pops into your mind, write it down, because that would be awesome. I'd love to read it. But I resent this girl who is an actress. I don't even know if she's a good actress or not. I couldn't name a single thing except for this movie that she's in. Although I'm pretty sure I saw her in something else that I liked. I don't know. But she just is so smug, and I resent the fact that she's trying to ruin, or that Disney is trying to ruin such a beautiful story. Stop it. Make a new movie. I mean, for heaven's sakes, if you want to make something based on the idea of Snow White, do that. A young woman whose father is wealthy and stepmother hates her and tries to get her by planting drugs on her, and she ends up in prison, but the prison guard is so taken by her beauty, etc., that he or she lets her go, and so she's off on the streets of Los Angeles. I say that because that's where I'm from. But she's off from the streets of Los Angeles with no money, trying to make her way through so that her stepmother can't get to her, and until she can get to her father and prove her innocence, etc. You know, you could make an interesting story that's based on the idea of Snow White without actually being Snow White. There's been plenty of movies that have done that. Some have been successful, some haven't, but at least that's fun, because then, you know, you can take it and be creative with it. You can take liberties with the story, because it's no longer really the story. It's no longer an adaptation of, it's just a fun idea based on the idea of the story. Do that. Disney, what the hell? Don't you understand? You'd think after all this time you'd understand how to make a movie. But they don't seem to know how to make anything. They're making remakes upon remakes. They're putting out Toy Story 5. I mean, they just keep going on and they ruin all the franchises. Who wants to see Toy Story 5? I haven't even seen 4. In fact, I haven't even seen 3. I liked the first one and the second one. They were fun and cute and I loved them. And after that, I didn't care anymore. It just seems to ruin the whole thing. So now they're doing another one, and apparently it's not even canon to the rest of the other movies. So I'm just tired of them beating these franchises to death. You know, it's ridiculous. This movie never had to be made. And the star of the show is a smug, nasty person. Again, could be just because of the fame. She could be maybe a really nice person. She just let the fame get to her head. I'll give her that. I don't know. She seems like a young person. Sometimes we do stupid things. Even when we're older, sometimes we get carried away. It happens. If she were to go on an apology tour, you know, maybe I would see another movie she was in. This one, I have no interest in whatsoever. I just don't. I don't care. But anyway, there was a question posed in that video that said, which movie would you watch? Because apparently another company, what is it? It's like a news thing, Livewire or Wired or something like that. They are also putting out a Snow White movie that is more traditional. And they asked, which one would you watch? Personally, I wouldn't watch either one. If I want to see Snow White, I'll go watch the original animated one when I enjoyed Disney. When Disney was good and they put out a really amazing film. So anyway, you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I love reading them. And thank you for hanging in there with me, listening to my little rant about Snow White. And I hope you have a good day. And that's all I got to say.